Hello and welcome back to the Nearly News Show. We took a commercial break there, clearly. I was ranting. I have to apologise. I've just had an Ofcom complaint, instantaneous Ofcom complaint about my conduct, about the way that I told you to F off or F you. I do apologise. I'm so sorry for that. The Ofcom complaint meant that I have to do another broadcast of the Nearly News Show and try and fix this technical error for impartiality reasons. So here I am trying to go live with President Bonjo, and hopefully this won't just be the Nearly News Show. It will be a live broadcast with President Bonjo. So fuck me and not fuck you. Fuck me. Okay? All right. Mr. President, I'm going to be going to you in just a second, but before we do that, we were trying to get people on board with the Joe Wicks Stay Mean, Stay Lean video, and we're going to watch that again because I think it's a very good video. We may not watch all of it, but I think it's a great video to watch. So we're going to go live with that right now.
Good evening. Welcome to Laughter Republic Training Campsite. I am going to teach you a number of exercises. I am your president. The plan is to do this on a regular basis. As you can see, after lockdown, for 11, 12 weeks, we have all put on weight. I should certainly speak for myself. And you can see that I am wearing the new Laughter Republic Training Army gear. And that is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to teach you a number of exercises, both in terms of your belly, your bum, your thighs, and your arms. So let's start with just a little bit of stretch. Just a little bit of stretch. See me stretch. Stretch. Stretch those knees. Stretch. Stretch those knees. Yes. Now, in order for you to get rid of the fat on your stomach and on your bum, you need to wiggle. 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 And then you wiggle to the right. No, that's the left. And you wiggle to the right. You wiggle to the left. Do that 10 times. Really important. I've only done it twice because this is a very short video. But do it. Look to the left and wiggle to the right. Now, I am going to try and do some press-ups. And these press-ups are going to be fantastic. Watch me do your press-ups for you. I'm going to do 350 press-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I said I was going to do 350, but there isn't enough time. This is a very short video. Now, what do you do if you have fat arms? What you need to do with your fat arms is you need to move like that, and you move like that. You move like that, and you move like that. I hope you have enjoyed this Laughter Republic training exercise. I shall be back here again, same time. They say you should do this at least 3 times a week. So this is our first session. Try it. Try it. Thank you very much.
So there you had Mr. President there showing you how to get fit, stay mean, stay lean. Now, I thought that was a pretty pathetic, I thought that was a pathetic opportunity there. I thought that was terrible because really, I guess though that a president just hires people to kill people and to dictate. But we're going to go live with Mr. President to keep you abreast of current affairs and his thoughts on those affairs. And about the affairs that he's having in the world now that the lockdown has been lifted. I'm told that I have to introduce him as the Malcolm Hardy award-winning person, comedian, president. I don't even know what the award is. Let's go live. Mr. President, how are you doing?
Look, I am fine. I hope you can hear me now.
I believe we can. If the constituents can tell us, if you can't hear him, then tell us and then we'll just go away again. But I think we can hear you. It's all popping up. The waveforms are there. It looks good to me. I've had to wear these big fat headphones just to make this all work so I can hear you properly. So, Mr. President, we've had a couple of weeks off. I have to apologise on behalf of Nearly News. That appears to just be the Nearly News Show that doesn't always make it on air. So I thought that the name's quite fitting, and I feel like I'm being trolled by the producers somehow.
Look, my friend, when you name a show, it's like naming a child. You have to be careful about the name, because if you don't give it the right name, the name that you give it is what really happens. So when you say Nearly News, that's why it's always Nearly News. It's like naming a child. You always have to give your show the right name, but it's okay. I want to start by saying it's good to see you, even though you still have forgotten all my accolades, 6-star review, left wing, army, president. Look, anyway, too many accolades. I have to start by telling you that the weather is terrible. I promised my people that I was going to do a Putin and be half naked, but I'm not brave enough. I don't want to put my office into disrepute, showing my skin. And I don't think everybody's ready to see a black skin anyway.
Yeah, you don't think the Black Lives Matter movement has moved far enough? Then is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think it has moved far enough for me to be showing my skin. But let's move on.
Well, so tell us about the Stay Mean, Stay Lean video. So Joe Wicks is obviously out there, and he's made a real name for himself before the lockdown, to be honest, but especially with the lockdown. So is this your response to him? Is this saying that black men are like Mo Farah and Usain Bolt, not just like Joe Wicks, who's a white, right-wing, privileged white man?
Well, I don't know about Joe Wicks. I know that I had an idea many, many years ago. You know, I dreamt about this lockdown. I dreamt about the fact that there will be a time when Western governments put their people under dictatorship. And it's so interesting. All of a sudden, Joe Wicks is now the man. I recorded that video many, many years ago. Stay mean, stay fit. And, I am concerned because our health sector in Laughter Republic, we can't cope with that many people falling ill. So it was important that I got that video out to encourage people. Well, would you see Boris Johnson do that sort of thing for his British people? No. Would you see Donald Trump, who eats McDonald's late at night, do that sort of thing? No. And that's the difference between a leader and a leader.
Well, Mr. President, yeah. I have to update you on Boris Johnson's movement in terms of exercise. Now, you know how he was diagnosed with COVID-19. There are conspiracies that is not true at all. But since the lockdown, because of his weight, because of his ill health, the Buckingham Palace said that he can use the premises of the palace to do his exercise. Have you been accepted? Because we're going to talk about the letter you received from the Queen. And I wondered if you've had a similar letter. And actually, Mr. President, let us show this letter now, and we can talk over the letter and we can discuss it, because I want to know, because you clearly have a very good coalition with Her Majesty in this country, and I want to know if you're able to do your videos from her premises. So let's see what this is. So we've got the letter here. I'm looking at it now, and it says, "Dear Mr. President, thank you for your message on the 20th of June, delivered by your Minister of Defence." Now, tell us about this letter and how this came to your possession, because it's from the Windsor Castle.
Yes, it is. And before I do that, I just have to say, before I respond to that, it's really interesting how the people I know that have recovered from COVID look leaner. They don't put on weight. So I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but that's what I have picked up, that people who recover from COVID, they have lost a lot of weight. So you can take whatever that means. The thing about my relationship with the Queen is this. My late father, Idi Amin Dada, had a fantastic relationship with the Queen. So I wasn't surprised to receive a letter from the Queen. And obviously, we want to celebrate the first anniversary of the attempted coup by BBC Studios and E4. And it's going to be a massive and big celebration on the 17th of July. And I invited the Queen. And I was pleasantly surprised to receive that letter, even though my enemies will tell you that that was a fake letter, that it was doctored. It was not doctored in any shape or form. I received
Yeah.
it, and that is great. And
Now I'm just
I've been
I've just turned it off now. I never know what the appropriate amount of time is for somebody to read a letter. Everyone reads at a different speed, but I show you again. You can clearly see, people, that that is not a doctored letter. You can see that is the Queen's. I've had a letter from the Queen. I'm not 100, but I've had a letter from the Queen, and we can clearly see that this is brilliant. So yeah, I mean, this is
so
definitely from the this is definitely from Windsor Castle. So I don't see how people can. These conspiracy theories are ridiculous to me.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is I'm not worried about the fact that my rival Boris Johnson has been given the opportunity to exercise at Buckingham Palace. But the good thing is that whilst the British Prime Minister is always going to the Queen is coming to me
Yeah,
and
for
to celebrate.
advice.
Yeah, and I think that is really, really important. Let me repeat that. The Queen is actually coming to my palace in Hertfordshire to celebrate with me the independent, what I call the independence, the celebration of the attempted coup by BBC Studios and E4.
Yeah, what frustrates me about the time as they, because when the lockdown actually happened, the Queen moved in with Philip so they could be together. Now, I heard from an unconfirmed source, by the way, that she phoned you prior to doing that and asked for your advice on whether it would be acceptable to do that. Is this true?
That is entirely correct. A woman's place is very close to her husband, especially where there is a crisis. But I don't want to say too much because we never know who is listening or watching this interview, and so I don't want to breach protocol. But
No.
your research is right.
Okay, well, thank you for confirming that. Now, I understand there's been a big push from the Laughter Republic and your team in to try and recruit people for your republic. So tell us about that, Mr. President.
I genuinely believe that there is a window of opportunity whilst I'm still in Britain to take over. Well, what have we witnessed over the last couple of months? COVID, obviously, and there is likely. Did you see? This is what I don't seem to understand about the British government. I saw a video of people packed in Bournemouth, half naked.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, like a nudist beach.
Yeah. Now, what I don't seem to understand is this. For fellow comedians, they were hoping that perhaps there will be live comedy from the 4th of July. But that's not the case because they don't want, the government has said no live entertainment in pubs or venues. It does not make sense to me. So no live entertainment in these venues, but people are packing out in beaches. Okay, they're not laughing, but look, I genuinely believe the second wave is about to come. The second point is this. There is a window of opportunity. I genuinely believe that there's going to be civil unrest in the United Kingdom and that the British Army will not be able to cope. And that's why I have started this Laughter Recruitment Army Drive. I also believe that, as you can see, I have been receiving lots of gifts from lots of ex-British Army officers and Army officers as well. I genuinely believe they want to decamp. They want to join Laughter Republic because they are very, very unhappy. Because if you will remember, the policy is the defense costs has affected Army officers. And we are rich. We have Hilarion. And so they want to join us. So when I was speaking to one of the British Army officers on Instagram, he said, why don't you set up a Laughter Republic recruitment army drive? And that is what has brought this on.
And you've been inundated with brilliant responses, which is fantastic. Now, obviously, you've seen the British government have decided to ease the lockdown. One, I want to get your thoughts on that on one thing, but as we started this show together, I remember you telling me that you were locked down with your 6 wives, but weren't able to recruit other wives that you have been doing for many, many years since you've been giving speeches in comedy clubs. Now,
Yeah.
are you looking forward to being able to recruit more wives to the Laughter Republic?
On the doctor's orders, he said I shouldn't have more than 6 wives. But I have to say to you, I have discovered a lot of things over the last 13 weeks about my 6 wives. And I'm not suggesting that I am going to replace them. And even someone said, my detractors said that because I have been with them for 13 weeks, there's every likelihood that one of them will be beheaded, divorced, beheaded, divorced, beheaded, divorced. Look, I haven't decided what I am going to do, but I know that I will be looking for new wives. So I will still stick to 6, but maybe I will replace some of them.
You must be
Who knows?
bored.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah, but on Sunday, I have to rest. I have to rest on Sunday.
I want to get your thoughts on JD Weatherspoons. Now,
Yeah.
I spoke about this briefly, but I Weatherspoons, I think if anyone doesn't know what a Weatherspoon is, it's a spoon that is used to check what the weather is outside, in the same way that you use a barometer for the weather. Now, what are you telling your constituents? Can they go to Weatherspoons?
Look, I don't like to get involved in British politics, but what I do know is that the Weatherspoon pub owner did not furlong his staff during the crisis. I would suggest any Weatherspoon customer should visit the COVID arms. I repeat, visit the COVID arms to get your drinks. Don't go to Weatherspoon.
Okay. Okay, don't go to Weatherspoons, go to COVID Arms during the lockdown. Now, you know what it feels like to go to a speech and have a bad turnout. I mean, you've early on in your career, you've seen poor turnouts for gigs, for even this show. Now, the US election with Donald Trump and the campaign on TikTok to overrule his so many 18-year-olds, woke left-wing 18-year-olds decided to buy millions of tickets, thousands of tickets, and then not turn up to the drive, to the speech. If that happened to the Laughter Republic, what action would you take? I mean, that was so humiliating for Donald Trump.
It will never, ever happen. It will never, ever happen in Laughter Republic, apart from the fact that we do not believe in elections. So there isn't any election campaign. We will rent crowds. That's what we do.
You rent crowds?
Yeah, just rent the crowd. That's what we should have done. That's
sale or return.
Yeah, sale or return.
Yeah.
Rent. Yeah. The last election that took place in Laughter Republic was many, 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 many years ago, and it was bloody. It was a bloody election, and that's why I had to take over.
Yeah, probably because you're a virgin. Now, ITV. Now, I know your coup and your issue has been with BBC and E4.
Yeah.
The Conservative government.
Let's get this right.
Go on.
My issue is with BBC Studios and E4, not with BBC, because my people, after doing their research, have said that there is a difference between BBC Studios and BBC.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So your gripe is with BBC Studios?
Yes, rather than with BBC.
Okay,
But I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. But I'm not a left-wing comedian. So
yeah, I've seen you've been trolled in the last few weeks with
I have
people
been
calling you a left wing. What's going on with that?
Yeah, someone wrote to me and said I was a left-wing army officer.
Oh,
Number
have
one,
they got a death wish?
yeah, well, apart from wanting to be on a death wish, uh, the army is either a dictatorship or not. It's never left or right or at the center. It's not a political, it's impartial.
Mm.
So I didn't understand where he was coming from when he said I was a left-wing army officer. But I love accolades, so I have included that in my
As a quote.
the
Yeah.
left-wing army, the only left-wing army comedian in the in the in the world.
Yeah. Well, you're the only left wing dictator in the world. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, to go back to the question, ITV, Piers Morgan, he's decided he's refused to read out a government statement from the Tory government, but the Tory government refused to go on the programme to give comment, but they gave him a statement that was an arbitrary, ridiculous statement. Now, it looks like that the Tory government have boycotted ITV altogether because of Piers Morgan's comments.
Well,
What are your thoughts?
I have boycotted watching Piers Morgan, Good Morning Britain.
Yeah, there's no good morning. There's no good morning when Piers Morgan's on the morning.
Yeah, there's no good morning. But look, my friend, a man of my caliber, of my status,
Yeah.
with the several accolades and the contributions that I have made to the British people in terms of the comedy industry and the entertainment that I have given people over the 11 years, I demand, if the Tory government will not go to his shows, then I should be given the opportunity to go to Good Morning Britain.
Yes.
You know, and what really pisses me off about Piers Morgan is when the attempted coup took place last year, someone tagged him, a Left Republican tagged him and made the recommendation that I should, be part of his interview show or whatever it's called. And he ignored me. So I have a beef with him, just like the Tory government have a beef.
I understand that that's the reason why Alan Sugar is not talking to him anymore. It's because of his ignorance towards you.
Well, I don't know about Alan Sugar, but I know that he loves falling out with dictators, and I know he has fallen out with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And so that confirms it all, my friend. That confirms it all.
Now we know we've done a very serious show, a very important show. We're gonna have to leave this here in just a moment. By the way, to the listener, we need your donations. This has been a very difficult time for all comedians, and it's been a very difficult time for the Laughter Republic and President Obonjo. So if you can, and you enjoy these podcasts, you enjoy these broadcasts, on this Nearly News show, then please do donate. PayPal.me/Nearly News. It really does help. Every little does help. And the exchange rate to the Laughter currency is it's very good. So if you give in pounds, we can get a very good conversion rate on the Laughter currency. So whatever you give does really help, and it helps us keep doing these. It costs money to keep it going. It costs our time, and I hope you enjoy them. I have one more question, Mr.
I was going
President.
to say.
Go on, please do.
I was going to say, let me use this opportunity to thank Hungerford Comedy Club. The foreign aid donation that they have made will go a long way in sustaining the Laughter Republic economy. So if they're watching this, or their audiences are watching this, it's just say thank you to them.
Okay, Mr. President, that's great. Thank you to them for supporting that, and it's made a huge difference. And like I say, every little does help. And that's not a campaign for Tesco. That's not a campaign for Tesco. Don't go there. Now, we're obviously going to get your last comments on current affairs and everything. But obviously, the big news today was that Rebecca Long Bailey from the shadow cabinet, the Labour Party, has been sacked because of her releasing documents then and an article that suggests anti-Semitism. Now, we did an entire special program that condemned racism. We did this program. We thought we were reaching to the thousands, to the millions, and making a difference. And it seems that someone as ill-minded as Rebecca Long Bailey has managed to undo the great work that we've done, Mr. President. What can we say about that?
I always don't like to go into the politics of British politics, to be honest with you. I've read some of the stuff, and some people are happy that she's gone, and some people are unhappy that she's gone. You know that Corbyn was my friend.
Yeah.
And I believe he was badly treated by the media. And it's really interesting how this current Tory government has adopted Corbyn's policies over the last couple of months. And it's almost a right-wing socialist government, if we could call it that, a right-wing socialist government. Was Starmer right to sack Rebecca? I don't know the full facts, but what I do know is this, that he is definitely demonstrating a different kind of leadership compared to my friend Corbyn. Every time I watch the Prime Minister's Questions Time, because I want to learn more about British politics, I do feel that at times that it's the other way around. The last time when I saw Starmer and Johnson at the first Prime Minister's Questions, I felt like he was gathering evidence on Johnson.
Like a lawyer.
Like a lawyer, so he could take him to The Hague for crimes against politics. I genuinely believe, after watching that first session and then watching it yesterday, which was Wednesday, that it looks like Starmer is Prime Minister and Johnson is the leader of the opposition. Yeah. And at one point I was thinking perhaps maybe the weed that I took was what was confusing my brain. But that's not the case. He's Prime Minister potential, and he's behaving more like a Prime Minister. But is he sacking Rebecca because he's trying to get rid of the left wing of the party, which is what some people are actually saying? Because, I don't do politics. I as much as some of these politicians want me to be their political advisors, I stay away from politics because I don't believe in it. So we don't know what his motive is, to be honest with you. If he says that she was anti-Semitic, and what about the person who actually she was referring to? I can't remember the name of the person, but what have they done about that particular person? So I really don't know. I think the Labour Party really needs to find a way of gaining power, and it will do what it needs to gain power. And if that means flushing out people on the left, if that means dealing with the issue with anti-Semitism, then because we could argue that if you criticize the Israeli government, does that make you an anti-Semite? So I am, as you will know, support the Palestinians as well.
Yeah.
I hate all land grabbing. Does that make me an anti-Semite because I am supporting the Palestinians for independence? I would say no.
I would agree with you, Mr. President. Now,
I think what's really, really odd about all of this, my friend Luke,
yes,
is the fact it's ridiculous that someone of an undemocratic leader has become a role model for Western democracy. Because when you look at all these Western countries, they don't have proper leaders. They don't have these are career politicians. Trump is there to make money. It's not about America. It's about making money.
Yeah.
Boris is a career politician. You know that for a fact. So
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous that people are looking at me, looking at me in terms of moral leadership. And who knows, maybe the opportunity will arise one day.
I'm sure it will, Mr. President. Now, I always, like I say, we've got a good coalition going on with this. I just want to say that Sean Dissanayake has said that I love you, Prezi, marry me. You've had a marriage proposal on Facebook Live from Sean W. Dissanayake. So, what do you what do you have to say about that?
I am flattered, but like I said, I have 6 wives, and I don't need another. So I'm going to reject that offer.
We're very sorry, Sean. I hope you continue to be a laughter Republican and keep supporting this. And we want your money. You can probably bribe us to date you. So if you donate a considerable sum of laughter currency to the paypal.me/Nearly News, then maybe something could happen. Again, we're not selling sex. We're just saying that you need to donate if you want any kind of broadcast, any kind of chatter, any kind of friendship that comes with a price.
I think that's really, really important. And I'm glad that you have said that any donations doesn't come with any sex favors.
Yeah, I just need to put that out there. Maybe we should have, every program should have a disclaimer underneath that says no comments nor donations will be returned with sexual favors for this podcast, or broadcast, as we should call it. But broadcast suggests that it's really popular, and I don't want to go on record to call it a broadcast. I call it a niche cast at this stage. Mr. President, we need you to give an update, a final comment to your people. You always have the last word, like Piers Morgan always wants the last word and tries to force the last word. We give you the last word because you don't force it. So it's all going to be down to you now.
Look, I want to start by talking about the weather, not Weatherspoons. It is extremely hot. I would say that if you have any underlying conditions, especially skin conditions, please remain at home. This is the second round of lockdown until the weather subsides. Do not risk going out there, exposing yourself to all sorts, because certain people are used to this heat wave and certain people are not used to the heat wave. And it's really, really important that you, if you're going out, that you put some cream on your body to protect your skin. Very, very important. If someone like me, when I took a walk this afternoon to Tesco, just for my daily exercise, I felt the heat. I was almost like a Nigerian goat, Christmas goat, waiting to be killed. I was sweating. And while I was walking, I was thinking, wow, even Prince Andrew will be sweating in this heat wave. So that's what I need to say. But there are some exciting news. I have a drive-in gig, and that is happening on the 17th of July in Birmingham. Drive-in means audiences will be in their car, away from us presidents whilst we're performing. I have a project where I will be interviewing fictional presidents, and I have a long list of fictional. You will not believe this. I'm not the only one, probably the only one in the comedy circuit, but there are other fictional presidents around the world, and I'm going to be asking them questions about why they created a fictional country, why they became a fictional president, what are the pressures of the job. And what's brought this on is I spoke to the president of Nambia, president of Nambia, a couple of weeks ago. And actually, he's a former president. And he told me he resigned because he could not cope with the pressures of his citizens. And that's why he has resigned. And I just thought, wow, I'm not the only one. There's Laugh Republic, there's Nambia, there's Zamunda, there's Tangazola, there's Wakanda. What if I was able to speak to all these fictional countries? Because, like I said, all these existing countries, these non-fictional countries, have failed. They failed their people. What makes you want to wake up? Excuse me, my voice is going. What makes you want to wake up one morning and decide, I have to create my own fictional country? Yeah, look, yeah, there must be a reason. So I want to get to talk to these people, all these fictional presidents, and maybe we'll have our own G20 summit.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm sorry, Mr. Prin, you said something else.
No. That was it. Really, that was all I had to say. Have anything else to do?
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Mr. President. It's always great to chat to you. You're always a pleasure to talk to, albeit I'm under threat when it happens. Yes.
Oh, there's one more thing.
Go on.
Yeah, there's one more. So you don't know this yet, but this is the way I operate. We are going to move these shows to fortnightly shows. So the last time we're going to have this show again on a weekly basis is next week, Thursday at 8:30. After that, Luke will be moving house on I think, the 9th of July. I don't know where he got the money from, but that's another matter. And I always say that we are the ones who are corrupt, but that's another matter. So he's moving on the 9th of July, and then we'll be back on I think it's going to be the 16th, the following week, but we will do it every 2 weeks. Every fortnight, we will do this. So the last time we will do this on a weekly basis will be next week, and then we will have a break for 2 weeks, and we'll be back every 2 weeks. We will advertise and let you know. We want to get better in terms of our promotion. I'm enjoying this fantastic project with Luke, and he's got better. I remember when we first started, he was shit.
Thanks, mate.
He seems to have done his research, and he's grown in confidence. And that's what happens when you work with a dictator. You grow your confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not corrupt. I'm moving house because of my house got infiltrated during this lockdown, and it meant that the BBC Studios and E4 were trying to sabotage this show because of what we were talking about. And so the Laughter Republic have been very generous and have decided to help fund the move. But there is about a 6 million% payback on that. That's a loan. It's a 6 million% loan that I have to pay back. A 6 million APR. That is annually that I have to pay back to the Laughter Republic. So if you take a loan from the Laughter Republic, just know that it's worth it.
I don't think you need to reveal the interest rate for the loan. You don't need. There's no need for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just one more comment, Mr. President, from one of your constituents, Graham Peter Beckett. I hope he doesn't mind me using his name. I've just breached all kinds of GDPR there, but who gives a shit? He's posted. He said, I made myself a fictional president, but I was assassinated, which is strange because he's commenting from beyond the grave, it seems.
Well, I don't know what's happened to Graham Peter Beckett. I mean, one of the things I think the British government needs to do is this. Because people have been on lockdown for 13 weeks, do you know the impact of what that means? So if someone, number one, he believes he's a fictional president, but also he believes that he was assassinated and now he's writing to me.
Yeah, I hope the mental health services are able to support Graham through his difficult time.
Sorry, but there are lots of people out there who are reacting differently.
Yeah,
I mean that's how you will explain what's happened in Bournemouth COVID Beach. You know, why would you have that many people go out there rushing to go to the beach as if they've been released from prison?
You know?
I'm going to try and do this justice. I've never met Graham. I've never seen him. I hope I never meet him. I'm sure he's a great guy, but he might have the coronavirus and he might be mental. But he's just commented again saying, "I was murdered, killed, I tell you." I think I've done that justice. That's what he said.
Look, if this was happening in Africa, then I would say that we need to get a pastor to exorcise the ghost. It is very clear. I think we have broken a record. We are actually speaking to a ghost.
Do you think we could do a laughter seance? A seance?
Yeah.
I say a seance. Seance suggests that we're going to sue them, but seance is when we bring the dead back. Maybe we could do... we need to think about a name for that, but there could be a potential seance where we bring back the ghost. But Graham has to be in on this. He has to be there live commenting, and he has to bring 300 constituents to the gig.
What is really interesting is that this man believes that he was assassinated.
Yeah.
And what you read out in terms of his comments, he said he was murdered. So this is very likely that this is really a ghost that we are dealing with.
Yeah.
And we need to find a way. Perhaps we need to talk about how we can involve this ghost. Maybe this ghost will be coming to the next show next week. And perhaps we could interview him and just get to know more about who murdered him. We start an investigation. You know, since I've been on lockdown, I've been so much in love with Jessica Fletcher.
Yes.
You know, the series. And I'm sure if Jessica Fletcher knew about Graham, she will be able to confirm who actually murdered him.
Yeah, I think she's a reputable source, and I think we could probably get that confirmation. We've run over by a massive amount, Mr. President. We've given the people too much time, too much of your time. Your time is expenses. He said just last word from Graham. Graham, we're gonna have to go, mate. We've got stuff to do. We've got lives. He said, "I will be there." Spooky, eh?
Hey, look. Don't talk to a ghost like that.
Okay,
be respectful.
Yeah. It might shake my curtains, maybe, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want it to shake my curtains or my clothes. Anyway, Graham, meet us here next week at 8:30. It's going to be 8:30. We had to do this again and do it late because we had a technical issue. We managed to recover it. We're here late, but we're here at 8:30. So next week we're here at 8:30, and then we're here fortnightly after next week. So Graham, if you're not there, we're going to kill you. No, wait. He's dead already, so we can't kill him. There you go. There's the joke for you.
First time we're having a ghost.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. If I can contact him separately, maybe I can do a pre-recorded interview and see what he has to say. But I imagine it's going to be... Woo!
But I know many ghosts.
Yeah.
But they've never ever contacted me.
They're usually women who ghost you after a certain amount of time. Mr. President, go on. Last word, and I'm going to go.
Look, like I said, the weather, heat wave, protect your skin. Not everyone can cope with the heat. Make sure you use your Hilarion cream. It will help you and protect you from skin cancer. If you are susceptible to that sort of thing, then stay at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So that was Mr. President there. Now, I have absolutely no idea if that went live. Now, Graham commented, which means... But he could have been in one of our rooms. If he's a ghost, there's a possibility he might have been in one of our rooms, and in fact, he's not watching it on Facebook Live. He's just hovering about with you, Mr. President, or me, here, the disgruntled news presenter. But that was Mr. President. What a great chat. We're back again. We're back here again. We had a great time. Mr. President has always got something great to say. So keep joining us. But please, that link at the top there, paypal.me/Nearly News really does help. It goes towards the Laughter Republic. And we can keep doing these podcasts. We can keep doing these broadcasts. We can keep doing these episodes and entertaining you, because we do this for free. We do this for free. It takes a lot of time to do this. It takes a lot of effort. We've got all this professionality. We've got the background. We've got the banner at the bottom. You know, we've got so much stuff that's going on in this. And there's no one else doing this. No one else is doing it this good during lockdown. So we need your help. We need your help to support us. So you've been listening to me, Luke Anthony, who is a comedian. I'm a presenter. well, I say presenter. I do this. I present it. I don't know if it's pleasant, but it's there. And I have Mr. President Abonjo, who's just fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic. And now Graham Peters just said, he just commented again. So, look, Peter, we'll talk to you next week. We love you. This has been the Nearly News Show. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been brilliant. Stay spooky, stay ghostly, and stay safe. Stay alert, and watch out for ghosts. Love you lots. Good night. Thank you for joining us. He's funny, that Peter.